podcast. A little bit late to the show, but I had to get something in. My dad, he's out with the sweetie. He's probably in the doghouse after the 4+ hour stream we did last night for the NFL draft. But it's time to get something good in our lives. The Boston Celtics are back playing. I'm so excited for this game. The chance to come up 3-0. Another big development here is Jason Tatum is back. I don't know if that is because he pushed it or if the coaches said they were good, but I know he was uncomfortable watching from the sidelines. I'm excited to see him back in the lineup. Drew Holiday is out though, hamstring. I'm sure everybody's seeing that in the news. Hamstrings are super tough. I'm honestly pretty concerned about that. It was good to see Drew Holiday finish the game out last game. He was there till the very end. He took the final free throws of that game, but obviously something tweaked during the game, and now his hamstring struggling. I will say, as an old man, a 31-year-old man who threw his back out, throwing away a floss pick a few weeks ago, I know that you can feel a little twinge, and the next day it feels horrible. So hopefully that's not the case for Drew Holiday with this hamstring. Hopefully he is back in because he is a major defensive piece for us. I think there's been a lot of times, if you've watched the game, first game and second game closely, that Drew Holiday will get Banchero to pass out from his ISOs, which very few players in the Celtics are doing right now. For the most part, Banchero is getting whatever he wants, and Drew Holiday has his number, which I respect and I appreciate. Hopefully we don't miss that too much tonight. Jason Tatum is back. So that means the gravity is back on the court. The defense is going to have to respect the best player in this series being on the court, and that's hopefully going to open things up. I'm really hopeful that, I know Derek White had a pretty okay game 2, but that game 1, a lot of that I think came from the gravity that Jason Tatum brings to the court, and I could tell that Derek White was not having a great game 2, especially in the first half. But having Tatum back, that'll hopefully mean a lot more opportunities for Derek White, a bit more space for those crazy threes that he does, usually tend to rain down. The other question is, what kind of Jaylen Brown do we see tonight? He took a very passive role in that first game. Same thing with Porzingis, a very passive role in the first game. And then they both came out and led the charge and secured the second win for us a couple nights ago on Wednesday. So with Tatum back in the lineup, what does that do to our offense? I think Tatum is always the net positive, and I think it screams that when you look at the net rating of his on and off, when you look at his plus and minus, when he's on the court, good things happen. So I think a lot of it is overblown when they talk about the ball becoming a bit stagnant when Tatum is on the court. I think he does move the ball. I think double teams are going to be a lot more prominent, especially on him, and that's going to open things up. I think Porzingis is shaking off the rust. I don't think he's going to be as invisible as he was in game 1. I think that, one big thing that was kind of discouraging was Cornette and Hauser, right? So Cornette and Hauser have not had a good series. Hauser still has not scored a point in this series. And now we're going on the road. And to be honest, neither of those perform very well on the road, especially Hauser. So this might be a total ghost show, this series for Hauser, unless he does something against the norm and actually hits a shot on the road, because usually he goes ice cold. We needed Tatum this game. If Drew Holiday and Tatum are out, that puts a lot more minutes on Cornette and Hauser's plate. And I'm not too sure I'm very comfortable, even against this Magic team, who we all know is not very good. I'm not too comfortable going into their house where their role players in a similar caliber to Hauser, like KCP, Cole Anthony, Jonathan Isaac, their guys will perform better. Their end of the bench guys, they're at home, they're comfortable, it's their arena, they don't have the Garden losing their minds. I expect a bigger game from those end of the bench guys of the Magic. Banchero, maybe he'll take a little bit more of a back seat, but at this point in the series, the only, I guess, non-Banchero guy that's been a decent impact was Wendell Carter Jr. when he had that burst last game with those couple of threes. He had a couple and ones too. But outside of that, KCP and Franz Wagner, neither of those guys have, I think, more than 1 3 this series. And now that they're at home, there's going to be a comfort level. And this is when, and my dad coined this phrase. This is the old Bulls phrase, so I don't want to take credit for this. But this is when the road killers show up. The Celtics had the opportunity to have one of the best road records in NBA history this season. I think that they ended up losing the game towards the end that would make them, the best. It was at Orlando, actually. They lost that game by 20. That game would have pushed them over the top. But of course, they have something bigger in mind. They have championships in mind. But that doesn't take away the fact that this is the best road team, at least in the win and loss column, that the Celtics have ever had. We had 33 wins and 8 losses on the road. We had that major 6-game win streak on that road trip out in the West Coast. This is small potatoes. I can probably promise you that the Kia Stadium, or whatever they call this, place where they're playing, the Kia Center, I'm sorry, is going to probably be 30% Celtics fans. I think that the road killers are going to show up, maybe play a little bit more loose, right? Less jittery with the crowd going nuts. And we actually beat this team by a lot like we did game one. And it'd be great to see us get off to a better start as well, because the Magic have kind of owned the first half. So, big notes for this game. The road killers are playing. The king of the road killers is back in Jason Tatum, because he's done amazing on the road this year. Number 3 is, can we start the game well? It's been a tale of two halves. I heard it on the pregame from Cedric Maxwell, so I am, I think, quoting him. But we have let the Magic compete with us in the first half, and then we took off in the second half. The third quarter's been nuts. We've outscored them by 7 in the third quarter last game. We outscored them by 12 in the third quarter the first game. If we can put together a complete game, this Boston Celtics team is going to cruise to a victory tonight. And I think being on the road is going to help us make that happen. It's less insanity on the road versus when you're playing in the Garden. And I think the players are going to do really well there. Also, Pritchard, right? 19 points in the first game, 14 points last game. Hopefully he can show up. Hopefully he doesn't fall cursed to the road games, the struggles that come with that for those end of the bench guys. We will see about that. Al Horford, he's had a pretty good series, especially on the defensive end, but not a big scoring volume in the first 2 games, 5 points and 9 points. He's not getting a ton of minutes, but it'd be great to see a little bit more from him. So as a Celtics fan, taking a look at it, the Magic, they have a few guys that can be really annoying, that can get on the level of those really annoying Heat players that we used to drive us nuts. These no names that would show up and shoot lights out. The guys I would look for tonight are Cole Anthony and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. Those are the 2 guys that I think are going to step up in a bigger way. Gary Harris is another guy who can explode for 3-4 threes and a half. So these end of the bench guys, we have to make sure they don't have a big impact now they're in their comfort zone. If they don't have a big impact, if they keep playing, like they have jitters, the Celtics should cruise to a victory. We should be up 3-0. The game's about to start. Given a little bit of talk, to honor our commitment to a pregame and postgame every single Boston Celtics game this postseason, just like we did last year. Go Celtics. I'll be back on for the postgame. The old Bull will not be back on for the postgame. He is, again, out with his sweetie, so he doesn't know who the Patriots are drafting. He doesn't know who, the score on the Celtics game. He's trying to dodge it. So if I find out where he's eating dinner, I'll make sure to call in and put in a request to put the Celtics game on the TV just to spoil it for him. I know Pete DiPadua is on a plane right now to go and spoil it for him wherever he's sitting. He told me to send the address before the game. But go Celtics. Hopefully the Patriots nab a solid wide receiver. I did some research. The Isaiah, not the Isaiah Burden, but his last name is Burden. Kind of sold on that guy. Bit of an attitude issue, but I am kind of sold on him. So, all right, let's go, everybody. A lot happening right now. I hope everybody has a good rest of their evening, and I hope 1 or 2 people join me for the post game. Bye-bye.